Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I had a lot of things on my mind. At first, I thought I was gonna come on here and talk about how to like not give a f about what people think about you. But right now, I'm not gonna lie. This is a lot of changes happening in my life. I'm not gonna be in this apartment much longer. It's June, August 1st. I'm leaving and I'm moving to Atlanta, and I just kind of been reflecting on a lot of things and just realizing how many relationships I've lost in the past few years, especially after leaving college. I mean, when I was in college, I finally established a friend group. Not the beginning of the year, freshman year, I was very introverted, very much in my dorm room. I wasn't really a big partier, not a big drinker because I was a stoner, and I was like super obsessed with this guy who didn't care about me. It was a situationship that started in high school, and the school I went to, he went to like the sister school that was literally like I went to school in Tallahassee. There's two schools there. I went to FSU. This other person went to FAMU, and yeah, I knew him. I known him since high school, and we were a situationship for a very long time. But yeah, basically, I say that to say I wasn't like I didn't. I feel like I didn't find my people in college until I got into the art scene there and like got more into my art major and everything like that. But then after I made all those friends and I came back home and everybody moved away, some people moved to New York, some people moved to Texas, some people moved to Atlanta, some people moved to LA. Everybody moves everywhere after college to go pursue whatever they're pursuing. I moved back home because I found a job back home. And yeah, I just realized like coming back home, I tried to reconnect. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I was always reconnecting with people who never really valued me, or I just kind of feel like I'm the kind of person, maybe this is like a Leo thing, but like if I don't feel appreciated, I'm not going to really stick around. I'm very much the kind of person who only has like a handful of friends or friends that I could count on one hand, and I like it that way. Like sometimes I look at big friend groups and I'm like, "Oh wow, like I wish I could have that." But every time I've been in a big friend group, there's always some drama, there's always somebody who doesn't like me, and I don't like knowing that you're talking behind my back. I don't really like being around like weird energy like that. And that's also kind of why I'm a loner as well today. Like I I have friends, but I'm used to like doing things on my own. And for anybody else who's like that, I just hope you guys know that that's okay. That just means you're okay with spending time with yourself and hanging out with yourself and being able to do things by yourself. For example, I just finished doing mat Pilates. That's why I'm in this like dry fit workout get up, and then I just put my hair in these two things to like put my well, for this video I push my hair back, get it on my face, and then I'm gonna go for a at least a 10,000 step walk. I don't have a job right now, so I've been taking advantage of like being able to have all this free time to just get fitness stuff in. But yeah, I just feel like, I've lost a lot of relationships very recently. I've actually went through a breakup again with the same person I broke up with months ago. I ended up trying to talk to them again. And it's fresh and I'm coming to the internet and talking about it, but it's just like this channel is about what's going on in my life, and honestly, it's just crazy because you never really like you feel like you'll know a person and then they'll just as soon as like what I don't like is like I love having a person who's by your side. They're rooting you on, they care about you, all that. But then as soon as something hits the fan or some conflict arises or there's something where you need to talk or let your feelings out, the person everything goes to the wind. The person doesn't care if they're hurting your feelings or like calling you out your name. They're just making weird accusations about your character, and I find that like really annoying. I find that really like telling too because when I get mad, I don't like I'm not going to say anything to you in an argument that's going to like hurt the other person's feelings, especially if I want them to stay in my life. I try to make sure even if I'm upset, one if I'm upset, I'm going to take a step back away from whatever is going on and try to reapproach you and let you know I'm going to reapproach you when I'm more calm and maybe we can like actually get somewhere. But what I'm not going to do is crash out and then like start saying all these things to hurt your feelings or things that I guess somebody that's the thing. I don't maneuver that way. So like when you have a friend or you have a boyfriend or you have a girlfriend or whatever, and you finally confront them on something, and mind you, you were scared to confront them on this because you didn't want to rock the boat. I'm very much that person. I used to be kind of the person who wouldn't say anything, even if something was bothering me, and just try to look past it because I was too afraid to say something and then lose the person. But what I realize is whatever you have to say that's real and you're not actually trying to come and attack somebody, that's just you. Yeah, that's just you trying to be real. Like whoever can't stand that realness was not meant to be in your life anyway. Because if you finally reveal to them whatever you're going through or whatever you wanted to talk to about, and like they're just not open to having a conversation without trying to now come after you, insult you, or just say something below the belt because they feel like, hey, like, why are you attacking me right now? Like, I don't know, like, you coming to them about something is attacking them. So now they feel they need to attack you, and really you're just trying to speak to them and you're trying to do it respectfully. You thought about it. You actually wrote it in your journal. You tried to figure out how you were going to say it, put the words together so they don't take it the wrong way, and then they still do. It's like at that point, cut your losses. Don't be a people pleaser. Don't let that, like, make you stick around where you're not wanted. That's actually why I feel like I have very little friends now. I just don't like to stick around where I'm not wanted. Like, being in a friend group, I've had so many times where it'd be like let's say a co-ed friend group, like guys and girls. If there was a girl in the friend group that did not like me, I would just like take myself out of the friend group. Now I'm not saying I won't talk to the other people, but it would kind of, for me, and I always felt like I preferred this, having more one-on-one connections or smaller group connections where there's not going too much going on. But I've been in so many situations where I'm hanging out with people or girls, and like it feels like I'm like, let's say we plan to link up, they already linked up. I've walked in a car door where we were going somewhere where it felt like they were just talking to me, or as if the energy shifts, or like I'm hanging out with a group of people and then like I'm the one actively being like ignored, or like it's so weird. I never understood the kind of people that like have you around but then have some weird animosity. Like literally last year, I had a best friend of multiple years, and I don't even know if I was gonna get into the story, but my best friend that I had of several years from high school, we met like freshman year of high school, and we were together ever since. I actually got into volleyball because of her. She told me, "Hey, you should try out for the school volleyball team." She was already into it, so I ended up starting in 10th grade. But she's been doing volleyball since 8th grade at that point. And then I joined the JV volleyball team at my school. And I was playing, and the next thing you know, I was so close with this said friend that we would hang out after school. Her mom didn't work at the time, so she would, anytime like me and my friend, like we wanted to hang out, my mom was very comfortable with me going and hanging out with her because she knew her mom would always be there. Her mom was the type of mom where like, hey, like let's say we wanted to go to the mall, she would drop us off at the mall, or like she'd come to the mall with us, and she would just kind of go somewhere else, and we'd go hang out because my mom was very strict, so she was not really cool with me going anywhere with anybody. But we got really close because my mom trusted her mother and like felt like I'd be safe, like I don't know, like regular parent stuff. To where, but I was also very close with this girl anyway. Like we had a lot of fun together, and then I ended up joining the club volleyball team she also played for, outside of school, and getting a scholarship to where I could play with her. And so we got really close. We're playing volleyball inside of school, outside of school. We started having classes together. I mean, we met in a class, but like throughout the years, like we were getting more classes together. And I think it's because like people like knew us as like a kind of like a duo. And I remember when I got my first boyfriend, or I had my first boyfriend. This was fast forward junior year, so that was 10th grade year. Junior year, I met my boyfriend. He was a senior. He was like, we dated. We actually got pretty serious. Because I remember it was actually really nice. I feel like my first boyfriend situation like went exactly how I wanted. Thought I was his dream girl, whatever. We dated, and I remember when we first started dating. He was actually also the person I lost my virginity to. Um, and I remember when that first happened, I didn't tell anybody. Like I was like, oh my god, like I just kept it to myself. Like I don't know, I'm not really the one to like go. Or I think at the time too, because it was such a fresh thing. Like obviously you talk to your friends about like boys or whatever, but I was pretty private in relationships. Or I just feel like there was not much, like there was my friendship and then there was my relationship. So I didn't really like go and tell this friend like immediately, like, oh my god, girl, I just lost my virginity, because I was just still like I was still just coming to terms with everything myself. I wasn't trying to make it known to everybody. Like I don't know. I think as a young person, it wasn't like it was an exciting thing for me, but it was not something that I was trying to go around and announce to everybody. Like, oh yeah, I'm not a virgin anymore. I'm not a virgin. Like no, like it was just like, to me that was like, okay, this is special. I'm doing it with my first boyfriend. This is exactly how I wanted. I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted to this is gonna be the love of my life, whatever, right? And I remember I say all that to say this is where this is not even the first time I've been betrayed. I've actually been betrayed as early as middle school. I'll probably go into that story afterwards. But yeah, basically, I'd be at this girl's house all the time after school. Like, it got to a point where, because her mom picked her up, like, she didn't work. So, if I didn't want to take the bus home, because that's another thing, I went to a magnet school that was 30 minutes away from my house. If you know anything about magnet schools, it's like basically where they have special programs, and it doesn't matter where you are, I guess, like in the area. Like, if you're an hour away, 30 minutes away, 20 minutes away, if you get into that magnet school, there's bus systems that can take you there and back. Now, I wouldn't take the bus to school, but every time I would take the bus after school, it would take me 2 hours to get home, because the bus is dropping off like from like a freaking 15-mile radius and making so many stops. So I just used to hate taking the bus, to a point where I was getting so close, especially on days we had practice and my mom was at work, where I would just go hop in the car and hang out with them, and just go to her house and either wait for my mom to get off work to get picked up from her house, or we'd be going to practice. And I remember, and we also had each other's. She wanted to, like, this was a time where we still had thumbprints and we didn't have like face IDs yet, and so this was like, I guess that was another friendship thing. I didn't really ask her, but she asked me. She's like, oh, we should have each other's passwords, and me just being like naive, I was like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. And literally, this is what blows me. To this day, I have no clue when this happened, but I just remember coming like back from practice one day from club volleyball, not high school volleyball, and getting in the car with my mom, and my mom looking at me and going, "Are you a virgin? Have you had sex? Tell me right now." And I'm deny, because I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from? Like, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. Oh, by the way, I was 16. I feel like that's a reasonable age. Anyway, and so I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I am a virgin. Like, girl, what are you talking about? I'm not doing nothing. But she knew I also had a boyfriend. So, wait, no. Did she know at this point? actually, I don't know if I would have told my mom that because she was very much anti no boys. Like she didn't want me dating at all. Like I did not have many dates. This was like literally my first boyfriend ever in all of my school history. So I mean, there was like guys. I think there was like a few times in middle school where you say you date somebody, you guys hold hands, but then you awkwardly avoid each other in the hallway. So you're not actually. Anyway, like I have again real first boyfriend. I'm denying. And then that's when she said, told me, oh, well then, and then she started like saying something, like verbatim saying something. I can't even say it because it was so, it's so vulgar, but just saying things that came from a conversation I had with my boyfriend via text. And I'm like, wait, how would she know that? How would she know that? How would she know that? And then that's when she finally came out to me and she was like, oh, well, your bestie. I don't know. Should I give her a name? No, we're just gonna call her Bestie. Well, Bestie told me, and her mother told me, and sent me the screenshots. And then she shows me screenshots that were taken from my phone, and I'm like, how the fuck did she get that? Because I didn't even tell this girl that I lost my virginity yet, and I felt so betrayed in that moment because I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, I don't even know. I'm just like, I guess I'm like feeling the feeling now. Like, imagine like you're just coming from a practice and your mother asked you if you lost your virginity just to find out that somehow your best friend, and it automatically clicked to me. I'm like, oh, so like literally, I'm trying to figure out like, was it when I was at her house? Did I go use the bathroom? Did I leave my phone somewhere? When did she have time to go in my phone and get these screenshots of me? It was basically a conversation of me and my boyfriend and us kind of like talking about like us doing the do. And nothing crazy, like we weren't talking nasty. Well, he was saying something. He said something about having a pretty cooter cat or whatever. That's crazy. That's crazy to say on the internet. But yeah, like he was like saying something like that, and I was probably just like, oh my god, thanks, babe. Oh my god, or I don't even know. But it was just the fact that that happened. Literally, I had to stop talking to her. I was so mad at her. And then when I confronted her about it, she's like, oh, well, we were worried about you. What are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean you're worried about me? Because I didn't want to tell you. Because I think before that she was trying to ask me if I did anything with him, and I don't think I like said, I was like, I don't really want to talk about that. I don't even think I denied it. I was just like, I don't really want to get into that. But it's also like, as a best friend, why would you go to my parents and tell them about that? And what do you mean you're worried about me? We're 16. Like it was a very conscious decision. We were dating for, honestly, me and that guy were not dating that long when that by the time it happened, but still I was like, nope, this is my boyfriend now. So, and thankfully the boyfriend at the time, he was really about me. So he was like, you know what, we're gonna to stick through this. I'll meet your mother. And he literally came to my house and sat down, and like my mom's boyfriend at the time, and he literally confronted them. He brought flowers and he sat down on the couch and we sat there, and he basically said, and I'm gonna stick beside him. No, and like I just respected it, and like so my mom respected it too, and she was like, okay, well, if you're gonna date my daughter and you've come here to show that you want to date and you're not like, basically I guess he was just trying to show he wasn't just a player or something, and that he liked me, and he just wanted to like, I don't know, like he was just trying to like, because the thing is, my boyfriend, like my first boyfriend, he did have a girlfriend prior to me that like he was like just the type that took like a girl serious, like the relationship type guys, which are great. The ones that like when they date you, they're like I feel like there's two types of guys. There's the guys that really like being players, and then there's guys who really do want to have like a girlfriend, and he was very much on that. Like he wasn't playing around with me. That's also why I was down to like make him my first or whatever, right? So yeah, that ended up just bringing us closer. And eventually, my boyfriend got a car. I ended up hanging out at his house, meeting his parents. His parents loved me, and he was also from a Jamaican background. His parents are from Jamaica. My grandparents, all three of them, except one, are from Jamaica. The other one's from Guyana in South America. So yeah, I'm Jamaican and Guyanese basically. And yeah, so I just love that. I just loved that was great. And after that, I just kind of stopped talking to her, right? But mind you, I was still in all these volleyball practices with her. I would still have to see her at school, at games, mutual friends, class. Like I had at that point, I think I had like 2 or 3 classes with her throughout the day out of like 6 of her, however many classes I was taking at the time. Um, and what else? Yeah. And then at club volleyball, I just saw her everywhere. I still had to play with her. I still had to. So it was kind of like a more like, obviously we're cordial, but like I'm not like I'm actively like not hanging out with her anymore. And it was just really betrayed because I'm like, why would you do that? Like that feels very malicious. Like what do you mean you were worried about me? That doesn't even make any sense to me. To this day, that doesn't make any sense. Um, so yeah, that happened and we kind of stopped talking. And then I think by the end of like senior year, I kind of gave her like a second chance. And then we ended up going to school in the same areas. I went to FSU, she went to FAMU. There was a lot of people from my school that went to FAM. I went to FSU, and there was like maybe a small handful of people who went to FSU because they couldn't, they not a lot of people got in, but I got in. So anybody that I knew from my school, like those were mainly people I was primarily hanging out with, and my bestie at the time. Well, again, so yeah, we ended up rekindling. At first, I stopped hanging out with her, but I don't know, like I just had like a love for her. I'm very much a loving person. I like to give people chances, especially back then when I was only like I'm 25 years old. There's a lot of things I feel like you let slide when you're younger because you just don't know any better. But you're supposed to believe a person when they show you them the first time. But yeah, no, I ended up becoming her friend. And mind you, there was other issues. I feel like a lot of times, like in high school, people used to think I was like a pushover and I just did whatever she said. But really, I was just easygoing, and she was a very like strong personality, and I feel like I'm a strong personality too. But at the time, I was just very like shy, quiet, like kind, and I was very much like a go with the flow friend. Like if she was like, oh, like she would always like to make the plan. Sometimes I would have ideas, but she always like had things she wanted to do, and I had no problem with it. It's not like I didn't want to do the things too. So she'd be like, oh yeah, let's go do this, and I'd just be like, okay, and then she'd be like, oh, let's go do this, and I'd just be like, okay. And so people used to like ask like, oh, like why do you always follow behind her? And I was like, I'm not following behind her. We're best friends. Like I don't know. People always have this weird thing because she's very, like I said, domineering personality. She will talk to you sternly. Again, I just didn't. Again, I feel like I just didn't know any better. But by the time we got to college, I remember we were hanging out, and I would always go to FAMU. I would always be Ubering over there. My mom didn't let. I had a car when my mom gave me a car when I turned 16, but she didn't let me. She refused to let me have it the first 2 years in college. I don't know what the f was the point of giving me a car, but yeah, for the first 2 years I didn't have it, so I'd be Ubering a lot over to FAM. And I just remember thinking like she hardly ever comes to me. Like I would go there all the time, and I could count on like one hand how many times she would come visit me. And I would even say that I'm like, hey, you never come see me. And I just felt really unappreciated. And I mean, obviously I'm not going into all the details, but if a friend is willing to do what they did before, like you can only imagine like the kind of friend they were throughout that period. Again, I just don't want to make this longer than what it has to be, but just make a long story short, I remember we were waiting at Chick-fil-A or something, and she just said something like so crazy to me. Like she was just so disrespectful and rude to me because I think she thought like she could just talk to me any kind of way. And then I just again stopped talking to her. And then eventually she dropped out of school and she ended up going back home where she couldn't afford it, something. And so yeah, I ended up being in college, and then fast forward, I come down to Florida, and I rekindle on me again. That was dumb of me. But I try to rekindle the friendship because again, I know her family, I know her little sister. We've known each other for years, and I think I was also just feeling lonely coming back home from school, and I was just trying to see who I could hang out with, and I chose her. And I'm thinking, years have passed, and I don't know. I just thought like, and like she was open to reconnect, so we reconnected and we hung out, but I just felt like there was always resentment there. And then it was confirmed to me when, again, I was hanging out with this other girl who used to also play on the high school basketball team, volleyball team with us. And the thing is, I knew her from high school. We were never close, but she was like a mutual friend. And so when I would go over to her house to hang out with her, mind you, I was the only one with the car. So anywhere time we would hang out, like I was the designated driver. And I remember I drove over there. Her friend was already there, and we were gonna take her other friend's car who lived in the neighborhood that was also on the volleyball team with us. And what our thing was, by the time I came back, I was already working my 9 to 5. But when I would get off of work, we would end up like going to this park or going to this like little area, and we would just walk and hang out and listen to music and like smoke basically. And but the thing is, I just kind of had a feeling like anytime the other girl would come around, she would act differently towards me, and the girl would act like kind of off with me. But I mean, I'm a bubbly person. Like it was just regular to me. Like so, I was just kind of confused. I'm like, okay, I'm picking up on these weird vibes, but I just tried to ignore it because it's like, okay, nothing's actually happening. But why do I feel like there's this weird energy? And then the day I finally confronted her about it, she curses me out and then tells me I was correct. There was more to that. I don't even know if the story was interesting, but yeah. So that was after like a year of hanging out with her once I moved back down here. And then I had to just cut her off again because she was talking to me crazy, like really, really crazy. And it was like the same reason why I cut her off the last time, except now you're also talking shit and hanging out with girls that don't like me and bringing them around me. I'm like, first of all, and then like like we claim to be sisters at this point, like so it was just crazy. And I remember in middle school, same thing. I had a friend group, and one day like all of them just stopped talking to me and just was like started ostracizing me. I swear I'm not a bad person. I genuinely don't know why. To this day, I don't even know why that happened. Have a feeling like it had to do with one of the girls in the group that my mom said from like when I first brought her over to hang out at the house. She was like, "Oh, that girl." And moms are always freaking right. I remember I had brought her over, and I think we were about to go to the fair because I asked my mom if I could go to the fair with her in middle school, and she was like, I don't like that girl. That girl, I don't think she likes you, Isis. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's my friend. Why would you say that? And she also used to say things about Bestie too. Like, I don't know why Bestie's doing this, Isis. Like, that's a little strange. Why does she talk like that to you or whatever? And I would always brush that kind of stuff off. I'm like, Mom, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, she knew exactly what she was talking about. Anybody my mom has weird suspicions of, she always ended up being right. But I've dealt with that in a lot of friend groups, even in college. I remember I was hanging out. This is by this point I would be hanging around like a lot of guy friends. Yeah, I was that girl who had a lot of guy friends. But at the time, I was making music, and again, one of these guys. Most of these guys I also knew from high school. They also went to FAM. The main one was a producer. He was in the producing class with me because I went to a performing arts magnet school. That's what it was for. And we were in every single year. I was in the same class with him, so I've known this guy for a long time. And I ended up just started hanging out with his friends because all like they just reminded me of home. And yeah, I got really close to their friend group, and there's girls in that friend group too. But it was based on the guy that I knew, right? And then there was also his best friend went to FSU, and that best friend I would hang out with. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but yeah, there's basically a group of us. And then I remember quarantine hit. I left, and then by the time I came back, 2021, back to school, because I didn't stay. Like when they said, "Oh, like you can do school from home," my parents are basically like, "Oh, we're not gonna pay for rent. We're just gonna have you come back at the crib." Like, but there was a lot of people who stayed in like in Tallahassee and like just did school from their apartment and were still getting their parents to pay rent or whoever was paying rent for them. Not me. So when I came back and like got reintroduced to the friend group, there were more people, and there were these two new girls. And I remember my homeboy was like, "Oh, you're gonna love them. They give the same vibe as you. You guys are gonna get along." And I'm like, "Oh my god, that's awesome." I meet the girls and I immediately get the weirdest energy from them, and I'm just like, I try to ignore it because I'm like, why does it feel like they don't like me though? Y'all are saying we're gonna be cool, but they don't seem to like me. Or honestly, it was just only one of them. I could just tell. Like she would, like I don't know. I've always had a good intuition. You can always tell like when something was off. But whatever. So I'm hanging out with this friend group and noticing that sometimes I would get excluded. Like anytime this one girl that if she made plans, like it was. I just felt like I was getting excluded sometimes. Like sometimes somehow I wouldn't find the invite, but then when I would open up my Instagram story, they're all hanging out, even though we're all a part of the same friend group, and usually the invite is extended to everybody. I don't know. It was just like weird vibes. Or sometimes when somebody else would host a thing and I'd be there, I just felt like this weird energy. And I was like, okay, this is strange, but I'm just trying to hang out. I don't want to be friendless, right? And then there was another girl who got introduced to the group because she was talking to the one of the guys in the friend group, right? And she eventually came, and I immediately clicked with her. There was a lot of people like I click with or you don't click with, but we ended up just getting along really fast. Nothing, for no specific reason. And it's not, and that's what I'm saying. Like I'm really not weird vibes. And the guy she was talking to at the time was a guy that I was really close with, and I didn't like him or anything. Not at all, but we hung out a lot. And the thing is, I don't know if like the reason why the other girl didn't like me was because the other homeboy in the friend group, like I don't know if she thought like because I was close with the one she liked or something. I don't know. I guess I'd be trying to make sense of it all, and I just still to this day don't know exactly why. But I remember this girl, this newer girl came into the group. She was like, "Oh yeah, I could kind of tell like so and so doesn't like you, like because how come she's always like inviting us to stuff and she doesn't invite you? Like I could just like she was basically pointing out something that I noticed but I didn't say, and I was like, oh my god, okay, I'm not crazy because even you noticed. And she's like, yeah, like I think that's so weird. And then I remember like I just didn't end up saying anything, and me and this girl we started getting closer and we just started hanging out like outside of the group because yeah, I don't like and the girl that didn't like me, she was like the main one always trying to like create the gatherings and kind of like be the leader of the group. That's another reason why I don't like friend groups. There's always someone trying to be a leader, and I'm just not really into that because I'm not a follower. And I also feel like I'm pretty much like I feel like I'm my own leader in my own right. Not that I'm trying to boss people around, but I feel like when you think for yourself, like that makes you a leader. And I'm very much not a group think kind of girl. And so and that's always why I like one-on-one connections or just like smaller groups of people connections because it's just like it gets weird. So but so I remember one day somehow I ended up confronting her in a group chat text with this friend. And not like, oh, hey, da, 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 but I was just like, hey, why does it seem like you're always leaving me out of things? I remember that's what I said to her in the group, in the text between me and the other girl. And she goes, oh, well, if you want to fight, then we could do that. And like, she just automatically went to like, bitch, let's fight. And I was so confused because I was like, girl, I'm talking about you leaving me out of the group. I'm not talking about none of that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't, but that's how bad that girl did not like me. Like, she was ready to fight me. I was like, okay, so you've been waiting to have a reason to fight me? Like, wow, okay. Just long story short, she didn't end up fighting me. I just stayed away from that girl. I'm like, okay, you don't like me, whatever. And then I just completely removed myself from that friend group and only hung out with certain people, off to the side because I don't really have time for like that. I'm just not into that. But I guess I say all that to say I'm a loner for that reason. I don't care about really making a lot of friends because I've just maybe that's trauma, but I've just been around too many people who've been really fake, really weird, have some weird animosity towards me. Oh, it happened also another time. I ended up hanging out with another group of friends because you make a lot of different groups of friends in different friend groups. This is like when I got more into the art scene. I was in the music scene, and then I switched over to the art scene, which they were also in the same scenes. But I just started expanding the people I know. And there was this one girl that I met. She was really cool, and she was like, "Hey, you should come to this volleyball. Like, oh, you like to play volleyball? Oh, me and my friends we like to play volleyball at this little sand court at one of my friends' apartment complexes. If you want, you could come." So I go. And it turns out they're a whole friend group. They also like to hang out. And like this one's like there's actually different races. Like the first friend group, it was just every guy was black, which is fine. But like I just thought that was cool. I'm like, okay, there's like all the peoples are here, like all walks of life, and again, co-ed, guys and girls, everybody's hanging out. And then one of the guys, again, I meet the leader of the group. He was like this rich kid, black rich kid from the town, from the city. He already graduated. He was definitely he was like 2 to 4 years older than everybody there. And he was starting a collective, and at the time I had just I was still making a little bit of music, and so I think eventually I got to know them. I started hanging out with them again. They would invite me to places and I would go hang out with them, and eventually somehow he ended up hearing some of my music, and he was like, oh my god, you're actually really good. And he was also like attracted to me because I remember that day we were playing volleyball, it was a sand court, so I had my shoes off, and he was like, "Oh, I really like feet. Like, oh, you have some beautiful feet." And he was kind of saying it in a joking way, but not really joking. And I mean, I guess maybe that would have been a red flag for somebody, but I was just like, "Oh, haha, okay, okay." But again, like I said, like the girl that I went to go hang out with them, she was cool. This was like her people, so I was like, I wasn't tripping about it. But then when he brought up a creative collective, I always wanted to be a part of that. When he finally heard my music, he's like, "Yo, I'm starting this collective. It's kind of like for aesthetics. It's gonna be on Instagram, and like I would love for you to be a part of it." And da da da. So that's how I got introduced to that friend group, right? And I remember there was this one girl there. Again, there's always that one girl in the friend group who does not like me because everybody else was totally sweet. Like it was like not saying you have to be close with every single person in the friend group. That's not usually like you kind of just end up finding your like whatever. But the main person that I was mainly friends with was the girl who initially introduced me. And again, she was super sweet. But one of these girls, I remember they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go hang out at so and so's place. Like, do you want to come?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." But every time I come around her, I feel a little uncomfortable. Like that would be my intuition. When someone doesn't like me, I just start getting really uncomfortable, like feeling like I can't be myself, or I feel like I'm not wanted. And I remember one time, like I had went to her room for something, and she was there, or like we were in like a room by ourselves, and it was so awkward. Like I was trying to make conversation, but like it was just weird. I don't know. I keep saying weird because I don't know. It was just off. It was like I could just tell she didn't like me, and but I didn't really say anything. Like again, I'm not gonna just say anything. I'm just gonna like ignore it because it's like what like I'm not about to start anything. Like if you're not gonna blatantly say you don't like me, or if there's not, I'm like it's like whatever. I'm just gonna try to maneuver this, right? We've even gotten ice cream together with the said main leader of the group, all that. And I guess she liked the guy, but which was weird because I actually found out from like somebody else that the only reason why she started hanging out in that group was because her ex best friend was the main leader's girlfriend. But it was really weird because it seemed like she was really into him. So I was like, so you stopped talking to the guy's girlfriend once they broke up, and you kind of just, I don't know, that was weird. But then remember the girl from the first friend group that pointed out that she noticed that the girl didn't like me. At that point she turned on me too, and I remember she said something to me about me being like super, like she was like, "Oh, you're so opportunistic," because at this point I was like very much into the art scene. There was a lot of like events that they would throw, and I would sell my art prints, I would sell t-shirts like with my designs on them. I knew some people who had screen printing set up, so I would go. And this one girl, she was also like into the creative scene, but she was kind of just more into like guys at the time. Like she'd be sleeping around a lot, which I didn't have a problem with. I was like, go, like we would just talk about like the tea or whatever, and she'd be sleeping around the guys that I would usually just collab with or whatever, and I was fine with like whatever, like who cares? Like I don't know, that's none of my business. But I just felt like all of a sudden now you have like this weird animosity towards me because that's how I found out. She was like, "Oh, you're so opportunistic, and that's why so and so." Like she even said it herself that you're because these circles they all ran really small, especially in a small town. So if you were into the creative scene, like you pretty much knew nearly everybody. And she was like, "Oh yeah, and that's why so and so said that you came to the group and you were just coming there to use everybody." Because I ended up not staying in that creative collective because when it came down to making music, it turned into, "Oh, so this is what you're gonna sing. This is what," I was like, "No, I do what I want to do. Like I'm not about to just do what you want me to do." So I was like, "Hey, I don't think this is working out. I can't be part of this group because there's no creative freedom." Like he had like a vision. He pretty much wanted to like be the puppet behind the scenes of everybody, but I was very much like I have my own creative vision. Like I can't just do what you want me to do. I'm gonna. And the thing is, it would have been different if he had like a fire idea, but it was like kind of corny. I was like, "This is cornballs. I'm not gonna do. This is the Mr. Feet guy. Like Mr. Feet. I'm not gonna no." Hopefully Mr. Feet doesn't see this. Anyway, because yeah, there was never any bad blood. I just kind of fell out of that group or whatever, especially if their time passed. But yeah, so I remember she said when she said that, and she was like, I randomly just caught her straight, and then because that one friend was mad at me and calling me opportunistic, and I was like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being opportunistic. Like she said that like it was like a, but again, like I said, her main thing in school, she was failing at the time, and she was sleeping around with guys. So I'm like, are you just again? It was jealousy. I hate to be that girl, but I've dealt with a lot of freaking jealousy, and I hate to say it because I like having friends. Like I don't want to, but it was like it was so weird. I can't even remember why she said that to me, and I was just like, "Oh wow, so you're telling me she's going around telling people that I was using the group when first of all, I only found out about the group to go play volleyball with them, and then the leader just happened to like me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make you the main girl and like put you in all the videos or whatever." But then after I didn't want to do the music, I ended up not doing it. So to hear that, I was like, "What? Like bitches really just be saying anything." And then there was like even some other girl. There's even people I don't know. Like that one friend that I used to when I moved back down, and the mutual friend that also played on the high school volleyball team with us, I didn't even really talk to her like that. Like the only time we would hang out was when my best friend would invite her, and then we would just go on a walk, listen to music, and smoke. Like where in that can you find a reason not to like me? Like we're just walking and chilling. We'll talk about our days. Like you'd be like, "Oh yeah, you know what happened to me?" Like just regular conversation. So I'm like, okay, so where in that like where in that are you finding a problem with me? I even invited this girl into my house. That's why I had to stop talking to that friend, because I'm like, why do you have me hanging around girls who don't like me and you're like talking, like, it pisses me off, because I'm like, I don't be doing anything, bro. I don't be doing nothing. And I really try to be self-reflective. I don't try to say that and like, oh, I'm perfect. I'm this perfect human being that is never ever. No, it's not even that. But it's like, you review like, okay, what is there something that I said? You don't even know, because I just feel like I'm being a regular person. I'm really not. I feel like I'm pretty easygoing. Like, I like to get along with people. And the thing is, I've always wanted friends. I used to struggle with people pleasing. So I would never try to say anything or anything to hurt anybody or make them not want to be my friend. For the longest time, I actually struggled with that, because even in middle school, when those girls stopped talking to me, like, it really made me feel like there was something wrong with me. And even when my friend went to my mom and like showed it, I was like, what did I do to like deserve this? Like, why did you feel the need to do that? And then even when I hear like the girl that didn't like me and said that she thought I was using the group, like, why do you think that? I only started hanging out with y'all because I was like, I just didn't understand it. I just didn't understand it, and I would just keep finding out like people who talk shit, because this girl, the one that, like, it's so weird, and it's always like, it's funny because she was the one who showed me that this other girl didn't like me, and then that same girl, years later, after hanging out, like, this was towards my end of time of being in college. Now you're when I forgot why she started getting into all that, but when she was calling me opportunistic, but she was like, wow, like, that's so opportunistic of you. That's why so and so told me this, and like, she just started like telling me how these group of girls that I didn't even know like that, we just kind of had similar circles, didn't like me, and I'm like, I don't know why you bitches don't like me, because I don't even fucking know any of you. Like, you must be a fan, because at the time, not saying like I was that girl or anything, but I was modeling for the like local creative brands, like, and these brands were not like huge brands or whatever, but they were like big in the scene, like all the guys are wearing them, and like the guys had the brands. These were like the guys that all the girls, I guess, wanted to talk to, but I never wanted to like get too involved with. Listen, okay, I did get involved with like two of them, but it wasn't on purpose. Like, I wasn't trying to do that. I really did try to keep it professional, because I was really trying to like collaborate with them, and like, you don't want to mix business and pleasure, but some of these guys are kind of fine, so it's like sometimes it happens, but that's not my fault that I'm that girl. Like, I ended up these same groups of people I ended up modeling with for their brands, and these are the same people who have the clothing brands. Like, I became friends with them to where I was able to screen print my own clothes and things like that. So I was really trying to keep it cordial with them. I was not, and they were like helping me out, and it was a very like helpful community. Like, any other, like, there were some other girls that were also a part of that scene that were not just trying to go out there and like talk to them, but actually be a part of the group and like be the ones selling and creating with them. And that was the group that I fell into. But I also happen to be cute. I also happen to be modeling with them, and I also happen to like I know I mean, obviously guys, they find you attractive. They find all of them attractive. It's not even like, that's what I'm like. It's not even a competition. Like, and these girls wouldn't even. It's not even like these girls were ugly. They were not ugly. So I'm like, why are you worried about me? Like, why are you worried about me? Why are you sitting here? And that's why I was like, what's not to like about me? But I couldn't even tell you why certain people didn't like me, but I've just experienced it so much, to a point where I left that school like not talking. Well, I was still friends with the girl, and to this day I'm still friends with the girl that introduced me to that one friend group with when I was playing volleyball in college. But yeah, the girl that I met from the other friend group that helped me confront the other girl, she didn't want to be friends with me anymore. And hopefully this doesn't make me sound like I'm the problem. I really hope people don't think that. I swear, guys, I'm really a nice person. I don't even like drama. I don't like talking about people. So when I heard all of it, it was news to me. But at that point in my journey, when that girl was like telling me about how this girl didn't like me and how this person said I was using this person, I was just kind of thinking like, wow, these bitches are really obsessed. And that's the growth there, when you realize if someone doesn't like you, and you literally don't even know them like that, or like you've just been around them, but for some reason there's something not like there's something. And I'm not saying it's always jealousy. Sometimes you don't click with people. Okay, fine, but based on what she was telling me, it was giving like shit talking, like we're just jealous of this girl, or I feel like some of it was jealousy, and that's okay if you don't vibe with me. But even if you don't vibe with the person, I don't feel like the people you vibe with, you're going around talking shit about them. So I feel like if you're talking shit about somebody, especially if they don't know you like that, like, are you jealous? Like, why are you so obsessed? But yeah, I guess I say all that to say that's I don't do friend groups. I don't trust friend groups, honestly. I have my little few friends that I have. Sometimes I'm even a loner. I will literally go a whole day without talking to somebody. Not no, wait, not without talking to somebody, but I can like go out and do things by myself. And like, I want to meet more friends. I want to make more friends. But I kind of just stick to the people right now that I feel like I can trust. And I'm actually actively making more friends as we speak. Like, I'm planning on hanging out with this girl. Um, we're gonna go do Pilates on the beach together. So I meet people all the time. It's not like I'm against friends, and I try not to let that scar me just because I've had bad experiences in the past. But I just kind of realized like friend groups are not meant for me. And when you're a star and you shine bright, bitches are gonna be mad. But thanks for watching this. I don't know what the heck this video was. I feel like I rambled from not giving an F to not being a people pleaser to just telling you how I've been betrayed all my life, or like how I feel like I'm scarred from certain friendships. But this video is getting really long, so I'm just gonna go. Thanks for watching. Tell me if this was boring. Comment, subscribe, I guess. I don't know.
Hi, editing me here. On my walk, like I said I was gonna do, I was like, editing the video, playing it back, and I know I speed up the videos and then I left that last clip so you could hear my real voice because I realized I always do that. But I just speed it up because I feel like it's easier to get through. The video is not as long, and I feel like the pauses don't feel as long as they are. I don't know. But I also forgot about this one story from high school before I met my first, the best friend that I played volleyball with. On the first day of school, I befriended this girl that was also in the magnet program and in like the producing class where we learned how to make beats and everything. That's the class where I met the producer guy and whatever. But yeah, I met a friend that day, and we just became friends instantly on just some like young kid shit. Like, you're just like, oh, you want to be friends? Okay, we're gonna be friends, right? And we were actually best friends. We would hang out all the time, we would do a lot of things together. And then I remember that friendship ended because there was a guy, I can't remember what year this was, because we would be in the same class every single year because there wasn't many people in that group. But yeah, I just remember there was a guy on the basketball team and the football team. He was like one of like the star jock athletes or whatever. And I mean, I don't know, I didn't pay him any mind, but he was in the class, and because he had a lot of girls on him, he was very much the player type, and he kind of just like made it known to everybody, or he would like just blatantly flirt with me in the class. But mind you, before that started happening, this girl would tell me how fine he thought he was, and like, oh my god, like I would do anything to be with him or whatever. And then next thing you know, he starts flirting with me. I don't want anything to do with him. I really didn't. I thought he looked like a lizard. It was not he wasn't even my type. And ever since then, like, she never said anything to my face. But next thing you know, I go to my other class, which was a piano class, and one of our mutual friends goes, oh my god, Isis, are you about to fight somebody? And I was like, what? No, I've never even been in a fight in my life. And she was like, oh well, so and so, your bestie, the first one before I met OG, like the real bestie that I ended up having for years. She was like, because I'm not saying names, and I'm not about to make up fake names either. But she goes, oh yeah, she's going around the school and telling girls that like she's gonna have you jumped and all this stuff. And I was just like, what the fuck? And literally, like, I'm not a fighter. Especially then, like, I just didn't. My mom, she grew up in the hood, or I don't know, my mom's not hood, but she grew up fighting. And like, and she, even like when I was younger and she used to go out clubbing, I remember one time I woke up and I went into my bathroom and there was like a track on my, like, in the bathroom, and I was like, mom, what is this? And she literally just tells me it's a souvenir. So I come from like people who know how to fight, but me personally, I've never been about that, and to this day I have never been in a fight. I'm just not really, I don't think that's in me. That's just not me. So when I found out that she was going around telling people that she was gonna jump me, I was kind of scared. I was just like, oh. So after that, I just stopped talking to her. Like, there was no explanation. The girl never said this to my face. I just found out from other people because the dude liked me, and it's not like I was betraying her. I didn't do anything. I wasn't even trying to talk to him, and I told her that. I'm like, I'm not into him. I don't want him. Like, but because the guy ended up liking me, now you're going around telling people you're gonna jump me. So long story short, nothing happened. But then for the rest of the school year, again, we had that same class together every single year, but we just didn't talk to each other. And by senior year, like, I think all of us kind of got over it, and like, I'm not like mad. And you realize, like, when you're in ninth grade, you're such kids. Like, I was over it. And by senior year, I only had one class, and it was that one class. And then after like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, I would just leave because I was doing dual enrollment at that point, and I didn't even have any more classes to take. But yeah, I just forgot. I think I was just thinking about all the other friendships that I've been throughout my life, since now the theme of the video is betrayal. And that was another one where a girl was going around telling people that she was going to jump me or get people to jump me. I don't even think she was saying that she was going to jump me. She had people she was going to send out to jump me. And I was so confused. I was like, what? This is my friend. You're talking about my friend? My friend said that? That's crazy. But literally after that, she just avoided me. I avoided her. Nobody went to jump me. But yeah, back to the other video. One more thing, I forgot to say this. One of those girls that ostracized me in middle school from this friend group, I ended up running into her in college because I guess we ran into the same. She ended up going to college, and she had like similar friends, where I remember one of my friends from this friend group, introduced to me to her, and she was all like, "Oh, hi," but it was like mad awkward because she kind of gave me that look like, "Yeah, I remember middle school." And I just remember looking at her and like being just like literally just looking at her, and I was just like, "Hi, I remember you." And it was just mad awkward because I'm like, I know you remember when you like, because like I said, these, and that's how I know she had no reason. Like, it was like a no reason ass thing that they left me out because she was trying to act nice towards me as if I didn't remember in middle school how she like ostracized me along with the other girls who like cut me out of that friend group for no reason. Like, and that's how I know these bitches be mad for no fucking reason. And I just want to say for anybody who's experienced that, just know that's because you're a light, you're a star. There's something about you, even if they can't put their finger on it, they don't like about you, but that's just because there's something about you that's great and that they just can't handle. And sometimes, yeah, it's like a vibe thing, but a lot of times it's just because you're that bitch and you just don't know it. Okay, that's it.